Alright, so every Sunday I work at the Long Island Children's Museum, and from 3:30 to 5:30 on both Saturday and Sunday we have an activity called Messy Afternoons, where kids can come in, they can play with a lot of fun different textures and materials, and it's a really fun hands-on experience that is free with admission. So I'm going to do one of the very simple projects and crafts that we do every Sunday with the kids, and it's known as oobleck. Oobleck is a fun and strange substance that isn't really a solid or really a liquid and has confused scientists for quite a while. So I'm going to explain not only how to make oobleck, but the science behind it and why it's a great thing for little kids to do. Alright, so first we collect our ingredients. We have cornstarch, water, and you can add food coloring, but I couldn't get a hold of food coloring for this. It's really not important either way. It doesn't affect your results. So first, we're going to put in some cornstarch into whatever container you want. There's really no rule of thumb as far as measurements go, or there's no exact measurement, I should say, but the rule of thumb typically is your cornstarch should double the amount of water. If you put too much water in, it's going to get too watery. If you put too much cornstarch in, it's not going to mix correctly. And then you just kind of get in with your hands. This is called Messy Afternoons for a reason, because you do get really messy, which is why we also are required to wear an apron as our uniform. If you do notice it gets too watery, you can easily put in a little more cornstarch. And you just keep mixing with your fingers until you get the right consistency. This is another great thing for kids to do because since there are no exact measurements, it's hard for them to screw up, so they won't feel bad about it. So then once you actually get the right consistency, you'll notice it'll kind of start to feel like this. You know, it'll look liquidy at first, but then as you try to really mix it in, it'll act as a solid if you put a lot of pressure, and then feel more like a liquid as you let go. Now, the reason this has confused so many scientists is because it hasn't acted like a solid or a liquid consistently. And that's because the cornstarch molecules don't actually dissolve in the water, they just stay there. So when you're putting a lot of pressure on it, the molecules will force together and act like a dry solid. But then once you go through it very smoothly, it'll start to act like a liquid. This is known as a non-Newtonian fluid because it doesn't follow the typical properties that Isaac Newton set out for solids and liquids. The reason this is really great for kids is not only is it hands-on and fun and messy, and every kid seems to like that, but like I said, because of the measurements thing, they won't get discouraged. If you add in colors to the project, then it's not only a lesson in colors and textures, so it's eyes and touch. The thing itself, while it is messy, you'll notice you'll get cornstarch all over you. But it washes really easily. It'll just wash out from some warm water and some soap. This, if I toss it in the washing machine right now, will be totally fine once I take it out. And also, oobleck got its name from a Dr. Seuss character with very similar kind of gross properties. So as a teacher, as a parent, as really anyone who works with young kids, you can use it as a reading lesson as well as a hands-on activity. So, in conclusion, oobleck is a fun and unique substance, as you all can see. And it's got a very simple science and history behind it. So I hope that while we may think we're too old for crafts, whether you've got nieces, nephews, children, students, any child in your life, you can have some fun, maybe some rainy afternoon with